Hello, boys and girls. That's
Hello.
my intro. Say hello.
Hello.
Right, this is very amateurish and rough job sort of podcast type thing. It's going to be called, we decided to call it Critapocalypse.
Critapocalypse.
Critapocalypse, yeah, that's it. Right, we got this down. We'll have a logo and stuff eventually. There might even be a theme tune one day, who knows.
Standard fare.
The basic idea of the podcast is that we're going to have a list of things to review, and I'm going to say things, it is things. We're not necessarily always going to do films and games and TV, which we do elsewhere on the interwebs, but we might, because, you know, it's a good way to promote other stuff.
Only do films, I'm not into the games yet.
Yeah.
Not wordy enough.
No, not wordy enough. But what we will be doing is just any old thing that we feel needs to be reviewed, and that's the point of this. We're going to make a review database in podcast form.
So lots of geopolitical discussions today.
Yeah, eventually someone will be able to go, hey, I want to know about like this brand of butter. Is it any good? And they could search for us and find the review of it.
I really feel like I need to get on top of butter trends.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're at.
Yeah, I'm completely lost at it.
Lightly salted.
Ever since they got rid of margarine in about 1999, I'm really lost on what I spread on my bread nowadays. It's all...
Sunflower spread isn't spread. It's butter under a different guise. It's lying to me.
Yeah.
I like it.
And after every review, we'll give a score. Just a score.
Random number.
Who knows? Right. So, are you going to go first or am I going to go first? You go first.
Okay.
I'm Ant. This is Matt.
Yeah, sorry, I'm Matt. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to review is Horns. Film adaptation of a Joe Hill book.
Yeah, never read it.
No, it's a good book. It's a good book. Alright film. It's got Daniel Radcliffe in it, so it's got Harry Potter in there, who plays a character doing things.
Should we check his name?
Yeah, it's Ig. I think it's Iggy, or Ig.
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 That's a silly name.
Ignacio?
Isn't that the name?
It's a Shakespeare character, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. No, that's the name of one of the characters from Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah.
Ignacio Montoya.
Oh, yeah.
Which I still haven't seen. I've never watched Princess Bride. But tell us about...
Horns. I mean, I don't really want to give anything away, so, you know, read the book or watch the film if you will. It's a good film. You know, it's lacking in some aspects, but only if you've read the book. If you haven't read the book, then it's a perfectly acceptable romance horror film.
His name's actually Ig Perish.
There you go, Ig Perish, and he's got a brother. There's a brother in there. That's a spoiler. Don't listen to that. Ignore that part. But yeah, it's the story of a man who's in love with a girl who goes missing, is murdered, and he is blamed for it.
Been there.
Yeah. We all have. Rape, murder.
Yeah.
Happens on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
On a Thursday, not so much. But he gets blamed for it, and in the end, he tries to prove his innocence using these horns that grow on his head randomly one day and allow him to influence the minds of others. It's all got a bit of religious theme, but there's not really much in the way of religious undertones. You know, they use iconography, but they avoid pampering it with all that crap that America usually get involved in.
Yeah.
So they're opinionated about religion in a way that's positive and negative. It supports people and is a detriment to some people in the sense that...
So it's not judgmental like...
No, it's not.
God, whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's not
God
like,
is Dead.
It's not like Bill Maher. No, God is Dead is the worst film ever made.
Yeah.
I'm going to add that to my list just for now. It's going to be a quick 30 seconds. Don't watch God is Dead unless you are really, really against anyone having an opinion, races of any kind. If you don't like anyone who's a different colour from you, that film's going to be right up your alley. Watch it as much as you want. If you liked Hercules, don't watch it. Kevin Sorbo is fucking atrocious. And
disappointed.
Dean disappointed. If ever you really wanted to see a film with Kevin Sorbo as Hercules and Dean Cain as Superman battling each other to the death, that's not this film. That film is people having opinions about religion that they don't deserve to have because they're clearly too religious to have opinions that support other people. Bastards. But anyway, Horns, I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's actually a really good film. The ending loses sight of the original message, but it's still sweet. It wraps everything up nicely. And Daniel Radcliffe does a serviceable American accent. He seems better than most of the Americans in the film. Juno Temple's in there, and, you know, she gives everyone a hard-on at some point in their lives, so I'd recommend it for that alone.
Yeah, I liked it when she looked like a teenage prostitute in Dark Knight Rises.
Oh my god, she always looks like a teenage prostitute. I watched Centrinians the other day and got an embarrassed boner. Huh. I was like, I'm pretty sure she's of legal age. I hope she's of legal age. Gemma Arterton was of legal age, so it was aimed at her.
Yeah.
And Russell
I don't
Brand.
think that film had any troubles with people being of legal age.
Yeah. Legal age is a loose defining term for that movie. But anyway, yeah, Horns. I give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's pretty decent. I mean, I say 7 out of 10. I fucking hate numerical values added to reviews. I liked it. You probably won't. If you don't like it, tell me about it.
Alexandra Arja film. I'm probably going to like it.
Email me if you don't like it. You
I liked Hills of Ice, man.
Hills of Ice was a great remake.
Yeah. I know some people hate it, man.
Yeah, lots of people hate it.
Yeah.
Had the X-Men 2, had Pyro from X-Men 2 in there. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't look anything like him. He had a beard.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So yeah, so that's
my number one, I guess.
Right. I think I'm going to start with Roundabout by No Goblin, which is... It's a very special game. They've basically taken Kuru in the obscure Game Boy Advance game where you control a spinning stick.
Yeah, I remember that.
And guide it through a level. And they've taken the logical next step of combining it with Crazy Taxi, where you're controlling a limo driver. The driver is YouTube... Well, she used to be a YouTube video maker, then she quit, but she's recently come back. She's called Kate Welch, and she's playing Giorgio Manis, or Giorgio Manis as the name is meant to be. But, yeah... Basically, you just have to make your way through the level. You pick people up, you get them to their destination. It doesn't matter how often you crash, which is kind of part of the fun of the game because you're going to crash a lot. Awesome. Although there is a permadeath mode on. I have done a video for this on the YouTube's on Mellow Gaming.
Plug in the website.
Yeah, you've got to plug that. You've got to plug it all day long. But yeah, basically you have to control through there. In between level, every mission starts with a cutscene, and it's basically some guy sat in the back of a car, like with a blue screen background. Sometimes the same person will play two different characters because clearly they couldn't get like baseball coach. They decided the baseball coach is also the driver instructor.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
has that not been done already?
One of the characters you meet is a skeleton. It's just like a plastic skeleton, played by Mandy Bot, I think his name was, or something like that, or Meridot. I can't remember his name. He used to be a YouTuber years ago.
Lots of YouTubes.
Yeah, it's all sorts of made of cult. It's very much a cult comedy thing. They know their audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game's friggin' crazy fun.
Yeah.
There's like lesbian undertones to it, although it's never exclusively said if Giorgio's meant to be male or female. Because
does she have a female voice, like quite distinct?
Doesn't talk. She never says a word.
Huh.
She every single cutscene is her looking over her shoulder to the person in the back seat, sometimes reacting to something they say. But she never says a word as far as I'm aware. I haven't finished it yet. It references stuff all the time because you can't make anything these days without making references.
It's kind of the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, Rubik's.
It's got a very 70s style. It opens up with yellow text on like old stock footage of a town and all this music going ba 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 ba.
Like Night of the Lepus.
Yeah. But yeah.
References.
It's a brilliant game. There's 3 different areas to go through. You unlock bonuses as you go along. You can customise the car with hats and stuff because of course you can get hats. They haven't updated it yet, which is a bit odd because I'm kind of thinking it's the sort of thing that would benefit from random updates. But it's been out about 2 weeks now. It's only about $8.99 on Steam, which is dirt cheap.
It's much cheaper than anything I bought this week.
Yeah, it's well worth playing. 6.4.
A nice even score. Okay, my next is Destiny on the Xbox One.
Still not played it.
Probably fair enough. Like, all right, well. The problem with Destiny is the story is completely not shit. Like, there's no reason to ever pay attention to the story, so I won't go into that.
Something about wizards from the moon. That's all I know.
Something about fucking spiders at one point, and then fucking wizards and spaceships and all that shit. It's a good game. One of the biggest issues I have is the first 25 minutes of the game. You wake up, Peter Dinklage comes down in this little robot voice and goes, "Wake up, you've been dead a little while. Let's go on an adventure." And you're like, all right, fuck it. All right, got nothing else to do.
Isn't that how Borderlands 2 starts?
I don't know.
It is. You wake up after a train crash and claptrap.
Yeah, Borderlands 2. Sorry, yeah, you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
Just digging the holes for the bodies.
Yeah.
Graves. Sorry, I shouldn't call them holes. That's what I call them when I'm digging them in my back garden.
Yeah.
So when it comes to this, so you wake up and your first gun you get is like this old school like M16.
Yeah.
So you got to pop at aliens with an M16. You're like, this is great. It feels like there's impact. It's quite nice. And then once you get your first proper weapon, I'm doing air quotes, proper weapon, it actually turns out that it's like a laser or a rocket launcher or a shotgun, any of those things. They lack oomph. It's much the same as Halo when you got that pulse rifle.
Yeah.
You know, the alien weapon. It lacked impact. It sounds like fake. It sounds like a toy. And it's a lot of the same with the weapons. They don't have that impact. And I don't know if it's maybe there's something wrong with my Xbox because, I did buy it cheap. But
The
when you're
vibration
firing,
doesn't
it
work.
doesn't vibrate properly.
No.
So you know when you fire, you know when you're playing even fucking Call of Duty, which is the toilet paper of fucking games. Like that was loosely adapted from someone's stool.
Call of Duty is, you know when you order a burger from McDonald's but they don't quite make it right and it's a bit flatter than normal?
It's like condensed.
Like, it still tastes the same, but it kind of just looks a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
That's Call of Duty. It still fills you up, but...
Why? But yeah, so Destiny, it's a great game. The combat is great, everything's great, even the vehicles. I love flying around the vehicle. The vehicle sounds great. It sounds like a speeder bike from Star Wars, like whoop, 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 as you go along, like whoop, 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 whoop. That's great. It's really good. Multiplayer's great. There's a lot of competition there. I just feel like it lacks punch. When you're fighting things, when you're firing, it lacks punch. It lacks definition. It hasn't defined itself enough from a game like Halo or a game like...
It's the thing with Bungie, they've been making those first-person shooters for a long time now.
Yeah.
Like,
and they've perfected combat. Like, don't get me wrong, combat is great. It just lacks impact.
If you go back and play Marathon, you can feel the beginnings of Halo in Marathon. Yeah. You're still getting the enemies trying to outflank you.
So I've never played Marathon. I played the original Halo, and the original Halo, when you get that pistol and you first fire off a couple of shots from that pistol, it's fucking fantastic. That pistol that is impact. That's like a magnum. It's like, just bang, bang, and it's fantastic. In this, you get a pistol and it's a hand cannon, and it sounds great, but it's just something about it. It just doesn't feel like there's an impact. But the game, it's a solid game. It's a really good game. I think I'd recommend maybe, I don't know, doing something with your ears instead of listening when you're playing it. I don't know what to recommend. I'd recommend the game on the basis that it is a fantastic shooter, but
as multiplayer, single player though.
Multiplayer's good. Single player doesn't really exist because everything's multiplayer in there. You can play it multiplayer. Story doesn't exist. There's no fucking reason for that. Your generic fucking chiseled jaw hero, white guy or your grey guy. Don't know what's going on there. Or your robot guy.
Grey people piss me off, man.
Yeah.
The way they act, man. They come into town, they just ruin everything and take our jobs.
Take all our jobs.
Jerks.
But yeah, no, like I'd recommend it. I really would. Get out there, have a go. I'm on there playing it constantly. I really wish there was just more of a punch, more of a defined voice to it. But yeah, that's my number 2.
Yeah, you love a number 2. I'm going to move on to an anime, proving just how up to date I am. I've started watching Death Note. I've heard of it. I mean, I heard about it years ago, and I don't think anyone else has heard of it. I think it's pretty obscure. It is pretty obscure, right? Yeah. No one knows a Death Note.
Just like the whole of our culture.
Yeah.
Just that's what we base anime on. Is Death Note.
No, I've never heard of it. I don't know anyone who's watched it, and I've certainly never reviewed both the films on the Film Dump 2 years ago.
Did you do the live action one?
Yeah, did both the live action films.
God, they were bad.
Yeah, I say both. There's a third one. There's that L Save the World, which doesn't count.
Death Note Zero.
Well,
L Save the World.
Yeah, it doesn't count. Apparently, that was in the manga though. They never actually did the. They did it in the manga, but they never animated it, as far as I'm aware.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm only about halfway through the series, and it's finally got to the point where it starts feeling like there's characters. Have you seen Death Note?
Yeah.
Yeah. The first about 10 or so episodes is nothing but exposition. Like, all it is it's so in love with the scenario, like the idea of this notebook that you can kill people with. But even that notebook that they can kill people with, it's got a convoluted series of rules that they even have to put on the screen between each part of the episode to remind you what the rules were. If I remember rightly, didn't the film do it as well?
The film it wasn't in the front of the notebook. Didn't have the rules in the front of the notebook.
He opens it up and every night, but you see him during the film, sure he did.
Probably in subtitles, because I can't read Japanese, so I don't know how I told them. They knew they were the rules, but he probably opened it and then they'd be on the screen.
But it's like for the first 10 episodes, there's conflict avoidance going on. Like, his father is the chief of police, and there's no mention, like, for ages, no conflicts between them. He's not trying to outsmart his father for the first few episodes.
No.
He's just like, I'm going to my room, I'm going to study. Could be his arrogance, coming through, but you'd think, like, there would be they could have played with that and done something. Yeah. The first point where it really starts to come up as a conflict is when they're surveilling the house. Yeah. And, and Light or Des has to, I'm not Light, that's the wrong, right, I shouldn't use Des at the end of the sentence, I'm messing up my Japanese. But,
I don't know any Japanese, so it's all good.
Fine. But, he does he's been surveillance like crazy. He's got a demon with him called a Shinigami. Which spies on everything, which looks more realistic in the anime than it did in the film. oddly. Because in the film he was just this computer-generated puppet.
It looked like a PS2 game.
It looked like, you know when you have those TV shows when they have a CGI presenter and it's some guy... It's
Max Headroom.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it started.
It looked more realistic than... No, less realistic than Max Headroom.
Yeah.
But,
that's because Max Headroom was a real guy from Mars.
Yeah, Matt Frewer, man.
It was, from Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
Oh, God,
He played the dad.
He's in everything, man. Zack Snyder loves him.
Yeah.
But, it's... The fact the first 10 episodes is just painful. After that point, you get to a moment where El has introduced himself to Light. Mm-hmm. So there's a bit more conflict going on between the two there. You can't tell what their actual real motives is, so there's something going on. Light starts working on the case to find Kira, who he is, in reality. And then eventually Misa's involved, which is like a model who's been given another death note, so she's obsessed with him.
Yeah.
She glomps him in one scene. Like, you don't get many glomps in... You know, when a girl jumps on a character in a Japanese anime and runs up to hug him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she glomps him in the middle of the street.
Glomps him.
Yeah, that's a weird phrase.
It is a weird phrase. Where'd that come from?
But yeah, it feels like it's starting to go somewhere now, but for that first half of the series is just painful. Like, he goes from being someone who picks up the Death Note and goes, this is silly, oh no, it works, to having his entire polemic decided. He wants to destroy the world, he wants to kill all the bad people, he wants to be a god of the new world and all this sort of stuff. And he's decided that in one episode.
Do you not? One thing that I really, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. One thing I really hate about Death Note, and this is something that I just fucking despise the series for. It was like the police go, "That man's had a heart attack." Killer, murderer did this.
Killer.
Yeah, someone killed that man. Gonna find them now. I don't know why he's Italian, but like essentially, it just like they jump from man having a heart attack to serial killer. In the space of an episode. I
can't tell if up to the point where I've got to, if they figured out that Kira can decide how they die. I know they can figure out, you can delay the time, but I don't know if they figured out that suicide and things like that is possible.
If he doesn't put anything down, isn't it just a heart attack?
Yeah.
And then if he puts down how they die...
If he puts something down that would be impossible for them to accomplish, then it's a heart attack as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they haven't figured out because he can make people get shot or something like that, or he can write down that they were in an accident and it kills them, which is how the guy on the bus dies. But I don't think anyone figured out yet that he's capable of doing that by this point. So I'm a bit lost now on that point. But I'm going to keep watching it.
It's like Superman 3, Turn Back Time.
Oh, Superman films. I will defend the memory loss kiss in Superman 2.
The date rape kiss.
Yeah, because that was in the comics. That was in the 60s and 70s comics.
Well, could you theoretically asphyxiate someone to the point where their brain cells just pop?
Superman could suck their brain, suck the air out from around them.
And then they'd asphyxiate and then lose that brain cell, just like pops.
The one thing that bugs me with Superman 2, though, more than this memory loss kiss, is the fucking cellophane S. When he pulls the cellophane off his shirt and throws it. That's not a Superman power. That bugs me more. But back to Death Note.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I digress.
I think the series is picking up now. I don't think I'm enjoying it as much as other animes that I'm catching up with recently, like Kill la Kill, which I've only watched a few episodes of, but it's consistently mental.
Never seen it.
Yeah, worth watching, because it's basically about a girl who gets a demon costume that eats her blood to keep her going, but it's also a slightly perverted demon costume, and it exposes a lot of underboob.
Watching that.
Yeah.
No, go for any other animes you're currently watching.
Dead Man Wonderland I just finished.
Okay, how is that? Because I was going to watch that.
Fucking awesome.
Oh, really?
Like,
That's all the blood and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, it's yet another anime. I've seen 3 this year where a core component of the anime is self-mutilation is awesome. Because Kill la Kill's got that as well, and Attack on Titan. They've all got... Yeah, all of them seem to love self-mutilation. But Dead Man Wonderland, I'm adding this as extra. Death Note score, 7.4.
6.4. 7.4. Next one's 8.4. Don't worry, guys.
Dead Man Wonderland has a really stupid concept.
Yeah.
It plays it dead seriously.
Yeah.
But it also has the silly moments in there as well. There's the silly characters, the silly things.
Yeah.
It's doing everything as serious as it can, but it's like what I remember from 90s anime, where they would take a really dumb concept and play it for straight.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. Because Dead Man Wonderland, essentially the storyline is the main character, Ganta, is... Ganta des. You always say Ganta des.
I have no idea.
He gets accused of murdering his entire classroom in a massive dismemberment spree, and he gets put into prison. Now, when everyone in his class is killed, he sees this guy in red put a crystal in his chest, and now he's in this prison. This prison is also a theme park, and the idea is that the prisoners entertain people who come to the theme park.
The theme park patrons.
Yeah, and the money that's raised from that goes into rebuilding Tokyo, which was destroyed 10 years prior by a massive, great big red explosion thing. What people don't
link to the blood.
Yeah, what people don't realise is that deep inside this prison is a whole bunch of gladiatorial contests being held on the internet for people, and everyone can use their blood to attack people.
Yeah.
So Ganta can fire blood like bullets.
Okay.
There's one character called Senji who's basically... He reminds me of... Was his name Roronoa Zola from One Piece? The guy who always had the sword in his mouth?
I actually never watched One Piece.
There's a character in One Piece. I'm sure it's Roronoa Zola. I think it's the only name I remember from that. Oh, apart from Luffy.
Luffy?
But he cuts his arms open and blades come out of his arms. Like Guyver. And he starts fighting with that.
That's like that fucking... what was that game where the guy had demon... He had appendages that were... He was cut up by a demon.
Dororo.
Is it Dororo?
Yeah,
he was cut by a demon, and he had blades in place of where his limbs were.
Yeah,
and his organs were replaced with
That's
clockwork.
awesome. That's
a great game.
Osamu Tezuka anime.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
There's a film of that.
Is it?
Yeah, I've reviewed it on Film Dump.
What, live action?
Yeah, it's not very good.
I'm not going to watch it. Though.
But that's a cool thing. Is he has all his body parts replaced by demons. But yeah, this Senji's got blades that cut his arm. There's another girl who she pulls her earrings out, and she gets like blood whips that hit people coming from her ears and her hair, so her hair turns into blood. So it's very much blood focused, but it is genuinely enjoyable. It has an awesome theme tune. Like it is so.
Wait, are we talking Beyblade and Pokemon level theme tune?
No, we're talking like turn of the century new metal.
Okay.
It's actually even sung by an American artist. It's like, yeah. And it's all set over to images of characters dancing around sort of sexily with their tongues out and stuff.
Hot.
Yeah, but the anime's good. It's probably the first anime I've seen since Gantz, which I've like genuinely felt was unpredictable, and like another anime filled with like violence.
Yeah,
it's really violent.
But Dead Man Wonderland.
Yeah, Dead Man Wonderland. 12.
Yeah, fuck it. Stratospheric. Yeah. Speaking of Gantz, did you watch live action films of Gantz?
No, I need to see them.
Oh god, they're atrocious.
Yeah.
There are certain elements. We're going to quickly go to Gantz now. Just 2 seconds.
Gantz.
There's an alien in Gantz. Gantz is a film about a bunch of people that are
they're dead.
Yeah, they're reborn in a room with a sphere, and it essentially sends them out on missions to kill aliens. It's really simple concept, really nice. There's conflicts of interest within there because there's friends that are related and there's people that are related and stuff. But that beside, the first alien they encounter is this thing that's obsessed with leeks. Is it leeks or onions or potatoes or what is it? It's
onions, I think.
It's onions. So it's obsessed with onions, and it turns out it's this big green onion-looking motherfucker. But it looks awful. In the anime, it looks unintimidating and it looks awful. Instead of just rewriting that a little bit for the live-action film and making it so it's a little bit more grounded, because I understand the concept isn't grounded, but on a budget, you want to make it grounded so you can just chuck.
You want to make a uniform design ethic.
You want to make Avatar, but without the budget, so no stilts or ears or anything, just blue paint. And they went the full whack. They made a digital version of that monster and made a big one that's practical effects.
Yeah.
And it looks fucking atrocious.
I need to watch it.
It looks so bad.
It's something I want to cover on Film Dump eventually.
Yeah, no, it's I recommend it just if you've seen the anime, if you read the manga, then it's a good book. How long is this so far?
We've done 24 minutes.
24 minutes?
Yeah.
We're rolling through this.
Yes. I've only knocked off 2 things off my list, so it's your choice now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. One review's going to be really short.
Which one's that?
I'll tell you when you get there.
Oh, yeah, no, fair enough. Alright, what things to pick from? Alright, Sleepy Hollow, the TV program, came out for season 2 in America. There are 2 episodes in, I think, in America now.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
There's a 3rd episode on tonight in America. Probably not tonight, this morning.
Is it one of those attempts to copy Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, but in modern setting?
No! Yeah, really interesting. One of my friends actually knows one of the actors in it, which is really interesting, but I'm...
Show off. I know a girl was going out with one of the guys from Outnumbered. In your face. One of the kids from Outnumbered.
Holy shit, how young is this one?
She's about 18. She's going out with Tiger, the oldest guy. Yeah.
Anyway. that segue
name
was
dropping.
Disturbing. Yeah.
Name dropping.
But anyway, so yeah, it's the standard story. Ichabod Crane fought the Headless Horseman, but it's all set within the American Revolution or Civil War. I can't remember. It's one of those foggy bits of history from 200 years ago that no one cares about in England.
Yeah, there's no history in America. No history except for murder.
The last 400 years, ignore that, and what have you got? Other than being a prick, the series, it's actually great. So what happens is that, it's not too much of a spoiler to tell you this because it's the premise of the show.
Sleepy Hollow.
It's Sleepy Hollow. So
Christopher Walken.
Ichabod Crane was battling the Headless Horseman, not Christopher Walken. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I love Christopher Walken. But no, Ichabod Crane is battling the Headless Horseman, and they both fall on the battlefield. Now, this is before the Headless Horseman is headless.
Oh.
He has a mask, and he's like a demonologist, or he's working with demonologists. So him and Ichabod Crane are fell by each other's swords, and they land on the ground, and there is blood, and the blood mixes, and they both get put in this sort of stasis. Whilst Ichabod is in stasis, they're just basically they're dead. For all intents and purposes, they are dead. They get buried. Ichabod gets buried, and is just left because they assume that he's not going to come back. The Headless Horseman is prepared for a ritual where he loses his head. They separate to use his power and keep him under the influence of a demon. Can't remember the name of the demon. Anyway, fuck it. Alright, what happens is, after that, Ichabod wakes up in present day. He meets up with this lady who's a police detective. Or lieutenant, as he calls her, who was under the tutelage of Clancy Brown.
Oh,
the
cool.
Kurgan.
Yeah.
The fucking Kurgan.
Nice.
From Highland. Also, Krusty Krabs, Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Mr. Krabs.
Clancy Brown does loads of voice work, man.
Yeah, Clancy Brown's awesome. But so he plays the police chief who trained her and took her from being a rough young girl into like this. Do you
like rough young girls?
I love them. But it takes her and turns her into a sort of a police officer. And it turns out that he was embroiled in this sort of demonologist thing. We find that out in the first episode. And Ichabod and this lady band together, and she's driven by the memory of this man who is almost like a father figure. He's driven by his need to save his wife from purgatory because she was trapped there by these demonologists who are living forever and being dicks for years. And it's like a Monster of the Week. It's like a procedural show mixed in with Monster of the Week. So, like CSI mixed in with something else.
Yeah.
There's no forensic side of things. Instead, it's just the procedural side. So it's like, we've got evidence that points to this bad do it. And then they go and investigate and they talk to people. It's great. It's really good. It's unexpectedly good. I expected just complete and utter shit. But what I got was an enjoyable hour of TV per week. And I mean, it's continuing on. Season 2 now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it.
There's a lot of this, like, horror TV now, isn't there?
There is a lot of horror TV. I mean,
Ever since American Horror.
Dusk Till Dawn is so fucking bad. I envy the blind.
Yeah.
And the deaf, because it was loud as well. That's the fucking worst thing. But any program or film that tries to replace Tom Savini with Gary Busey's son, it's going to be a bad time.
Gary Busey's son, the guy
Jake
from...
Busey.
Yeah, from Starship Troopers.
Yes. He replaces Tom Savini as Sex Machine.
Okay.
You think, like,
let's kill this fucking band. Did you say that?
Let's get out.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah. Bugs Bunny jokes aside because of Jake Busey. All in all, it's a great show. It's really fucking recommended. I wouldn't recommend Dusk Till Dawn. I recommend Sleepy Hollow. I'd give that, I would actually give Sleepy Hollow an 8.5. I'd give Dusk Till Dawn a 2 because I fucking love the original film, but what they did with the series was just, they've given it the reverse accordion effect. So how they've done with The Hobbit. The Hobbit is a 300-page book at best.
Yeah.
Alright, slow readers will take a week.
Yeah.
But somehow they've made, so a script per page is a minute.
Yeah.
It's usually the case. So they've made 3-hour-long films out of a book that's 300 pages. Books, when they're transferred over, should be about 3 hours, 300 pages.
Yeah.
They've made it a 9-hour epic, and it's just given it this reverse accordion effect where you've got this thing that's been stretched out, it's elongated, and between these, this construction of the accordion, there's just air. There's nothing. And the film just adds in these vapid excuses for people to go on CGI adventures, and it's ridiculous.
The end result is the noise an accordion makes when it's stretched apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they have the nerve. Spoilers. I'm going to spoil The Hobbit 2, because fuck that movie.
Spoil the third one. What happens at the end of The Hobbit?
Yeah, he gets home, doesn't he? He gets home and has a rest.
Yeah.
But no, fuck. The second film, The Hobbit film, for anyone who hasn't seen this, I'm sorry. It's probably best to spoil it for you, though. There's 45 minutes of people philandering about in a mine with a dragon and making a giant gold statue that melts for some fucking reason. Don't ask me why. They're dwarfs and they like gold, apparently. Racist. And then racist. And then they go and they decide that they can't defeat the dragon, so it fucks off. Voiced by
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes. So it fucks off, and then as it's flying towards the village, you see it's a village, and you know that Stephen Fry's there, and there's
Just Stephen Fry. Not he's playing a character, just Stephen Fry.
doing coke on top of a steeple. That's controversial.
Talking about bumming.
Talking about bumming and cocaine. What is that accent? But anyway, yeah, so he's just flying towards the village, he's like, I am deaf. And like, you're watching it and you're like, oh shit, this is immense, this is what I've been waiting for. Look, Wood Village meets Fiery Beast.
Yeah, like the episode of Samurai Jack.
Just ends. Just fucking, yeah, just like the ending of Samurai Jack where he's about to kill Aku. And then it just ends. Just ends. And then, like, it's like a trailer for the third film. It's fucking stupid.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, which I know very little about.
Segue.
Shadows of Mordor, and you've been playing this as well.
What number is it?
I don't know what number it is. Who cares?
You're
what
on number 3
is.
now, aren't
Yeah, I'm on my third review, but we're going to get Shadows of Mordor out of the way.
This is your 3, my 4.
Yeah. I played an hour and a half of it last night, and we did record it, myself and my buddy Paul, who appears on Mellow Gaming from time to time. Yeah, name dropping Paul. How's it going, Paul? You'll probably be the only person who might listen to this. Did you peak the audio? You peaked the audio like fuck there, man.
Sorry.
But yeah, Shadows of Mordor, it's Assassin's Creed, Batman, Arkham City in the Lord of the Rings universe, but it's not shit. It's like, I'm kind of enjoying it. Like, I enjoyed the hour and a half I played of it, and it's violent as fuck. It's really violent.
I have this section on my list as well, and I've just put lines for shit that I'm reviewing. So
yeah.
My line for this was ass in the rings.
Ass in the rings. What in the butt?
What in the butt, indeed.
Yeah, it literally. I mean, it follows the Ubisoft archetype design method. Like 10 minutes in, literally 10 minutes in, because it was exactly at the end of our first episode into our second one. You're in a tower and you've captured a tower and it tells you what's around it. Ubisoft design. Pure Ubisoft. I love that design. Even the crew has towers to capture. It's a driving game and you have to capture fucking towers.
Do you just drift around the tower? Is there like you know, like one of those car parking garages and you've got to drift around?
You drive up to the tower, it goes to a cutscene where your car skids, and then you get a zoom out of the map and it populates the map, just like in Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. And does Splinter Cell have towers?
No, because Splinter Cell's not open world,
probably does. Oh, it will do eventually. They'll get it.
It probably has like hack points, you know, like they do a lot of hacking now.
This segue, an idea I had the other day when I was his mate. Do you remember the original version of Splinter Cell Conviction when they first showed it off? Do you think that turned into Watch Dogs?
No.
No, do you remember when they originally showed it? It was you walking around a city.
Yeah, I remember.
And you were some dishevelled guy.
Like, yeah.
Do you think that... I reckon that became Watch Dogs.
No, because you remember what Splinter Cell Conviction, the whole point was, don't you?
What?
Like, it wasn't tech. So it was the opposite of tech. So it was like, you would know key people, and you would have like pictures of key people, and to avoid being detected, you wouldn't have any gadgets.
Yeah.
So instead, excuse me, you would go around.
Where was it set, though? Was it set in Chicago?
No, probably not. New York.
I don't know. I reckon Watch Dogs may have been, at one point, they may have gone, let's turn this into Assassin's Creed.
Do you ever feel like in games, sorry, segue again, do you ever feel like in games, like they just get like random people like Roy the taxi driver, and you're like, this man has information, and it's just the wrong person. Someone set you the wrong picture. It's like a fuck up on the DVLA.
I like the Shadows of Mordor, the interrogations in it. Literally ripped from Batman Arkham City. But at least they tell you something, and then you choose who you want to think, because that Nemesis system's quite cool, where you've got the...
I like the Nemesis system.
Because when you pick out who you want to find out about, if you kill that person, someone else rises through the ranks. If they kill you, they rise through the ranks. I did manage to make that happen during the video. I got killed. I went and killed a captain, and another one was there at the same time, and I got killed by him.
One thing that pissed me off is I think I've got short man syndrome in games.
Short what?
Short man syndrome in games.
What's that?
Well, you know, like little guys are always a bit more punchy.
Yeah.
Which was the excuse for Joe Pesci in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm in a game, like this is when I first saw Skyrim, I did the same thing. Like when I first saw Skyrim as a game, as a concept, I was like, oh god, you know, like this dragon's gonna come down, and I imagine this dragon coming down like in Dragonheart, but without the Sean Connery.
I would have had Sean Connery.
And the wings are going and they're pushing air towards you, and you're like, oh god. I wouldn't be the guy who ran off and tried to get out his knife and got stealth points on it. I'm always the guy who gets the sword and goes, have at thee!
Yeah, I don't play stealth.
And I go mad. I literally, and I was just in my head, I was just like, I know exactly what I'm going to do there. All the stills where he had the knight and he had the sword and the dragon's there, and it's like getting ready to blow fire. every time I went, I was just like, I'm going to fucking brain that thing. I'm going to do that thing in. I get the same thing in Shadows of Mordor, because I went around a corner and there was this massive, like, rancor.
Rancor pit monster, yeah.
Rancor.
Yeah, I saw that at the start.
It just looks like a rancor.
Yeah,
It's just like, fuck it, that's a rancor.
Yeah.
I went around the corner and I saw this thing and I was like, yeah, man! I like, pulled out this sword. And I was shit at the game, so I don't know why I had such bravado.
I think I annoyed Paul at one point because I completely ignored following Smeagol, and I realised that there was a group of...
Fuck that guy. I've had enough of him.
Is he voiced by Andy Serkis in this?
No, he's had 6 movies.
Yeah.
Fucking die.
But,
he melted, didn't he?
yeah, I saw a group of enemies walking away, and I was like, I reckon I could stealth kill all of these without, like, one of them noticing. And it has got that stealth kill film where not one of the guys in the group will go, hang on, someone's just choked to death. You can walk up behind him and kill him. But I'm really enjoying it. As much as it is derivative and it is identikit, and I've got the feeling the reason they've not put Lord of the Rings in the title is that if they ever lose the Lord of the Rings license, they can call it generic fantasy adventure Shadows of Mordor and like change the name slightly. Cause
Shadows of Morrowind. Oh god,
Yeah.
no, the Skyrim guys are over.
it's actually making me... I don't want to buy a PS4 for it because I still don't have a next-gen console, or current gen now. But I might buy it on Steam when it's 75% off because Warner Brothers is probably one of the worst developers out there and I don't publishers out there, and I don't want to give them any money. I want to give them as little money as possible.
It's like giving money to EA, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, I work for EA, man. I used to.
Job dropping.
Yeah. But Shadows of Mordor, I'm enjoying it. My score would be 74.
Boom. Like it.
What score would you give it?
1,000. Well, I have a different opinion of it to you.
Yeah. I don't mind stuff that doesn't try to be anything special as long as what it's doing it does well. Like G.I. Joe Retaliation. It's not doing anything special, but it does what it does well.
Yeah, I really like G.I. Joe.
Yeah, we watched it last night.
But my problem with Shadows of Mordor, it's that you've taken things that have been just successfully done in a way that they've realised, oh look, this needs more. The Nemesis system aside, that's fantastic. I actually really like that. That's a piece of development that I feel is going to be utilised in a lot more games. Not just in this, we're going to see.
You can take control of enemies, can't you, and build them up through the ranks.
I mean, we're going to see that in a lot more stuff. But my problem with the game is that it does stuff well, but it doesn't do stuff in a way that's great.
Yeah, the combat in Arkham City has a rhythm to it, and this doesn't have the rhythm.
No, this has no rhythm because you'll have 2 enemies come up to you, and you can slice 2 enemies. You can get the third one coming up behind you, and it's about to give you a hit, and you can turn around, you can press the hit button, and you do this like kick that's really quick.
Yeah,
and you just don't need to block.
I do like that you don't have to unlock that. You can block when you're executing someone. If someone's attacking you, you can instantly block.
I like that. That's a good point.
Because I don't think that happened in Arkham City.
No, Arkham City, you had to carry on with the execution, didn't you?
Well, execution, right? Knockout.
With the slap to the face.
Yeah. How long until they do a Batman game in the Arkham City mould where you're evil Batman and you kill everyone because blood's cool?
Well, that's why I was mentioning segue. That's why I was mentioning
Scooter.
The Flashpoint. The
Flashpoint paradox.
The Flashpoint paradox. In that, Batman isn't Batman. Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Batman is Bruce Wayne's father.
Thomas Wayne. Yeah.
Elseworlds,
Earth 2 version. Yeah.
That's it. Because Bruce Wayne was killed in the alley instead of his parents.
Yeah.
And his mum is the Joker.
Yeah.
Which is great. I thought that was fantastic. And Batman in that world just shoots people and throws people off of buildings. I was like, finally. That's
Tim
the hero.
Burton's Batman.
That's the hero we deserve. We don't want people getting out again.
Yeah.
It's only so long and you just become like a self-fulfilling prophecy when you're releasing.
Does he still have a mustache in that?
Mustache.
Because I remember, I see a picture of like the Bruce Wayne's dad always has a
little
mustache.
tiny one, the Frenchy one.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't know.
Lame.
But he's grey skinned for some reason, and he's drinking all the time. He has a hip flask and cargo pants.
Awesome.
It's actually great. It's really cool.
His wife's the Joker, so
yeah, yeah. But the segue is that just that's the kind of Batman that they will eventually do. I feel like they will eventually get to the point because DC do better games than Marvel.
Yeah.
But Marvel do better films.
I think Marvel get the tone of Marvel comics across in their games quite well, but the DC games kind of, sometimes they're a bit sort of, they've got their own tone just for that game.
I think DC have just been cultivating a bunch of different fucking universes.
Yeah.
So if someone says, I don't like Superman, well, here's Russian.
Yeah, where
Superman.
does Arkham City take place in? Because the idea was that they did those 17 worlds, didn't they, or something like that? and each game would take place in one of them. Everything they did would take place in one of those worlds.
Oh, like Starman would take place in...
Like Young Justice takes place in Earth 16, I think it was, or something like that, or Earth 1. I don't know. No, nor do I. But DC's pretty convoluted, but I think they've just cultivated all these different environments so they can, if like someone says, this game would be great if you could shoot people. Oh, fuck it, here's Batman from Earth 6, and he uses guns, and he shoots people. You know, they've got all that there, ready to go. And that's why they can make such good games that have such a different, diverse idea. Yeah. Often they are cack, but they're less cack than Marvel games. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Marvel games have been made by Activision for the last few years.
That's true.
Not anymore.
God, Tony Hawk's.
I hold up Marvel Heroes is actually a decent game.
It's made by Lego.
Marvel Heroes. No, I mean not Lego one. Marvel Heroes, the MMORPG.
Oh, the MMO. It'd be
Diablo.
It'd be great if you could just use a pad though, like on X-Men Legends.
Oh yeah. Because it's Marvel Ultimate Alliance with one character.
That's all you need. It's just be able to use a pad.
Yeah.
Because it's not clicky. It's not quick enough when you can click.
Do you like in Shadows of Mordor how like everything is Assassin's Creed? When you dive off the building.
Well, that's the thing. Like diving off of buildings feels really just. It feels like it has no issue. Like, it doesn't feel like something that's epic and interesting. It feels like it's just like, I'm jumping off the
You turn into the Ghost Wraith thing
as you
fall down. But what happens to what's-his-face's body? Does it break his legs as soon as he lands?
Well, that's what I was thinking. If you could just turn into a Wraith and be like super powerful and not have to take damage, would you not just be the Wraith the whole time?
I don't know enough about Lord of the Rings to even know if it's called a Wraith. It's an elf, dead elf.
Well, here we're setting the precedent. Yeah. We are setting the precedent for what those things are called. I
think we should just, whatever we say now is law and canon.
Yeah. I think this is canon for ourselves.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Clearly, people don't understand that we're the most meandering people in the world, so we'll go from point to
I've
point.
never actually watched all the Lord of the Rings films. I've watched
the first one.
I do plan after the third Hobbit film has come out, I will cover all 6 Lord of the Rings films on Film Dump in whatever order I feel like. Might be Tarantino order. So any order.
Any order that just feel like on the day.
But I've tried watching Fellowship of the Rings 3 times and fallen asleep each time, and I've watched the whole film.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it from start to finish without passing out. And I watched the bit in Two Towers where they threw... I saw the bit in Two Towers where they throw Gimli, and Gimli's like, throw me, and Orlando Bloom's like, okay, and they throw him over the thing.
Orlando Bloom is a bit of a ledge right now. I feel like Orlando Bloom, if I was going to... There was an incident recently where Orlando Bloom was going to punch Justin Bieber in the face. And I would love to see Legolas fight Justin Bieber. Just like, give him a bow and arrow.
Would he
give Justin Bieber a microphone?
Jump on Justin Bieber's back, slide down him, decapitate him. Second Justin Bieber
appears on stage, and he'd fire an arrow from the crowd, and it would fly. It would careen over all these people, and it would hit Justin Bieber in the forehead. And then he'd hit like a wall of lights, and the lights would explode like in an 80s film. Yeah. They would just explode in sequence.
Yeah. Outwards. Yeah, that's the entire film. Directed by Justin Lin.
No, do that 50 times in a film. But do it from multiple angles, and sometimes in slow motion, and occasionally with strange trance music.
Can that be the next Justin Bieber film?
Never Say Die.
Yeah.
It would never say never, and there's the sequel, Never Say Die. Yeah. But it'll be Never Say, die.
And we'll include in all the times when Justin Bieber's racist to people, when he spits off buildings at his fans.
Yeah, occasionally we'll have picture-in-picture. Like in the corners we'll have moments where he degrades into an animalistic monster. And it would just be like him spitting in fans and pissing in.
The actual first true depiction of Justin Bieber. Yeah.
It'd be Justin Bieber, true 2.
Justin Bieber score, 0.
We're already making enemies.
Yeah.
We've just started a podcast. Anyway, Shadows of Mordor, it's like Marmite, love it or hate it, it's there. It's probably worth having a look at.
Yeah, if you want inventive, it's not for you.
I'd say rent it.
Yeah.
And if I was going to give it a score, I'd say...
Do you know what it really reminded me of?
Oh.
Viking, Battle for Asgard.
No, God no, fuck that game.
Fuck yeah, that game's good.
That game isn't good.
You're bad.
Alright, okay, look.
9.8.
Any game where it feels like you're a lump of lead that's steadily rolling around
is awesome.
You can't jump.
Rock of Ages? Yeah, no, you can't jump, no. You climb over things.
They didn't evolve to have jumping powers.
But it's the open world, you have a target and you can approach all these different things around it to affect it.
You call it an open world, I call it a field with 2 boxes.
Yeah.
And they were the castles.
Yeah. I like Viking Battle for Asgard.
It's an alright game. I'll give it all right.
What was your score for Shadow of Mordor?
Shadow of Mordor, I'll give like a 6.8.
Yeah.
I'm keeping to those single digits.
C+.
Yeah.
Your next review, you're next.
No, it's you next, because I did Shadows of Mordor as well. So
you get to carry on. I've got 2 left.
Fuck. Alright. Let's see what I've got.
You've got a longer list than me. You do more than me. I have to work.
Yeah, I have to work as well. Jesus. I probably work more often than you.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so my
Next
number
one.
4, 5, whatever we're on now, is a new series called Z Nation.
Z, is it something to do with zombies?
It's something to do with zombies.
Of course it is.
Where is a man going to get his entertainment in the zombie world if he's looking for something slightly more light-hearted and made by Asylum?
The Zombie Land TV series that never actually got done.
It
By
was
the way,
fucking atrocious, that's why.
the noises you can hear is the Glenfiddich I'm pouring. Do you want more?
Yeah, right.
Because I've got to get through this bottle eventually. Let's review Glenfiddich.
No, let's not review Glenfiddich just yet. Let's wait until we finish the bottle, because it's always the bottom that tastes the worst. So Z Nation, episode 1. Loose plot.
Oh, yeah, reviewing things.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not just talking into a microphone, trying to seduce people that aren't here. Z Nation. So what to say about Z Nation? It's made by Asylum, those fantastic people that make those mockbusters.
I've reviewed one Asylum film and I refuse to review any more. If you want my opinion of Asylum, search for review number 2 on Film Dump, I think it might be.
God, going back to classic film.
Oh, it might be 6, actually. Titanic 2.
Classic
A
film.
3,000-word rant on what is wrong with Asylum and why they are destroying the film industry.
See, this is your problem. You spend too much time writing reviews. 550 words at most.
1,200 for me,
Oh, really?
on average. But I've hit 3,000 multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, Asylum TV series.
Yeah, Asylum TV series called Z Nation. So essentially, it's a film starring Scott Everett from American Werewolf in Paris
Oh, shit.
and Dead Man on Campus. I think that's his
Wow.
name. Is it Scott Everett?
Yeah, that's like... If you're creeping the bottom of the barrel, you may if you can't get a former big name star who's now hit rock bottom, you may as well get someone who never even removed from rock
You
bottom.
can't get Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. Go for his co-star from Dead Man on Campus.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Man, you just reminded me. I want to watch that Saved by the Bell biopic.
oh yeah, shit, yeah. I
Need to get that.
25-year anniversary.
Yeah,
But
anyway.
let's
Dead Man on
stop
Campus.
advertising
Z.
because no one's paying us.
Yeah, Z thing.
So Z
Z
Nation.
cars.
Yeah, Z Nation. So Scott Everett plays a small town sheriff who used to be a National Guardsman, who is one day meets Harold Perrineau
Who?
from Lost, the black guy.
Really? Oh, well, not the character, just...
No, yeah, not the random Harold Perrineau in character from Lost appears.
Because that's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Fictional characters interacting.
I
with
never
the
watched
real
Lost. Who's Hal?
Yeah.
But anyway, him, the actor.
Michael Perrineau. I think it's Perrineau. I hope fucking it is. Because we at least want to be accurate when we're spitting bile at people. He plays a guy who's escorting a man who might be the first reported case of someone being immune to a zombie virus that has struck the world down. Not
nice.
in an apocalyptic, big, massive way, but in a way that affects small country villages and basically places where it's cheap to shoot.
I've always had this theory that it would be very difficult for a zombie apocalypse to actually happen unless they ran.
Yeah.
If they were, is it stumbling zombies?
No, some of them run, some of them stumble.
Well, it's unrealistic automatically because we're fucked.
Rules. Yeah, it's not rules. But yeah, so it seems to occur, like a lot of the damage seems to occur in places where it's very cheap to
Harold
shoot.
Perrineau. Yeah,
Perrineau,
Perrineau.
So he is escorting someone around who's immune, and he's on a mission to get them to California. They're somewhere not California because they need to get
Are
there.
they from the East Coast to West Coast?
I fucking don't know.
So this is Judge Dredd and the Cursed Earth.
Yeah, probably.
Cool.
Jeez, I don't care. Like, I'm not associating this.
No, I
with
like the
anything.
idea. I like the idea of like Oregon Trail, the TV series.
It's not like that.
They try and get from one part of the country to
They
another.
are, but it's not like that.
Oregon Trail.
It's done with a bit of a tongue-in-cheek
Oregon
stuffing.
Trail.
Oregon Trail, that's it. So yeah, it's done with a bit of a tongue-in-cheek. The whole time, so before we get to the next bit of the plot, if anyone watched the Zombieland TV pilot, the idea was that the group from Zombieland were going around directed by someone who was on a radio.
Yeah.
Who would essentially tell them where survivors were because they had this eye in the sky, like this omnipotence that is not real. And they were able to go around and they found people that were trapped and they went and saved them.
Because of Bill Murray. Fuckers.
The one person that's worth saving.
Yeah.
Other than Woody Harrelson, who made it, it's fine.
He loves his kids.
I have a feeling that this... Yeah, poor kid. And I have a feeling that this was the Zombieland pilot, or this was the Zombieland series and it was written, and they've just adapted it.
Yeah.
Because it's the same process. DJ Quills plays this character in Alaska.
DJ Quell's in it.
DJ Quills.
I'm watching this.
No, you're not.
That dude's underrated as
It's
fuck.
fucking atrocious.
Dude, have you seen The New Guy?
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's a brilliant film.
It's not. It's a spoof movie loosely wrapped around a
He
plot.
brings the funk, man. At the end of the film, he's like, what are we going to bring for the party? The funk.
The only good person in that film is fucking... who's the comedian? The one in prison. He has the shitty afro. Yeah, that guy.
Anyway.
I don't know his name. Anyway, but DJ Quills plays a guy who's on the radio and he essentially tells people where survivors are. What to say about this? Jesus. Crap. It's awful. But it is a new height for Asylum, who I've only seen about 6 or 7 films by. And every one of them is just the bile that leaks from a fucking rusty wound. They are to script writing what fucking Ebola will be to the human race if it spreads any further. They are atrocious. They are... I don't understand.
Man, you can't catch Ebola unless you're, like, alive.
It's alright, because I'm really prone to spitting, so if I get Ebola, I can spray it around the world. But no, it's fucking atrocious. It's terrible. Like, Asylum, usually they rate on a 0.4, 0.56, just below a 1 for most of the films.
I'm tired of people telling me to review Sharknado.
Oh, God,
I am so tired of
that movie and the sequel. But they did a film a long time ago that had some merit, just based on the fact it had Mark Dacascos in it.
Instant qualifications for good quality, man.
It's called I Am Omega, and can you guess what it's based on?
It's I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Which they're remaking.
Yeah, don't know why about that. But let's ignore that. That's movie news. We'll do that at the end. We could do a movie news segment at the end, what we've read in the news. But anyway...
There's someone in this film called Pissay Pow in Z Nation.
So anyway, Z Nation, it's just, that's the plot. Like, they're essentially trying to get from one side of the country to another, I guess. It might not be that. It might be from one corner to another corner, or one bottom to the right. I don't know. On a map, so it'd be south to southwest or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't care. It's
California.
Awful. It's terrible, but it does mean that Asylum have finally reached the lofty heights of a 4 out of 10, because that's what I'm giving the pilot. The rest of the series is probably going to be worth very much. I haven't seen any other episodes, but from the first episode, I don't hold out much hope. If you're looking for something to fill the gap between The Walking Dead, watch anything else. I would recommend...
Play Dead Rising 3.
Don't even play Dead Rising 3, because Dead Rising 3 was nowhere near as good as Dead Rising 1. Play Dead Rising 1.
Actually, I like the the download content Case Zero thing they did before Dead Rising 2.
Great. That was great, actually. Yeah. The little village.
Exactly the right amount of time.
Yeah.
And it didn't have many boss fights.
If you did that, and you did, like, cross-country across America, and that was... If you basically took the plot of Z Nation and wrote it well, with good characters, and some semblance of brain matter...
You'll probably have that spin-off of Walking Dead they're doing.
Well, that's just going to be The Walking Dead again. That would just essentially be something. I hold in high regards Walking Dead, the comic.
Yeah.
Not the
I've got
series.
a bunch of them up there, man.
Yeah, fantastic. I hold them in high regard. Also, the games. The games are fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Not that rubbish Cabela's Hunt rip-off.
Oh, yeah, not Silent...
Whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Survival Instinct.
Nothing based on the TV series. The TV series itself is... I'd say it's 6 out of 10 for the whole of the series. Yeah. I hate a lot of the characters, and they just kept on people they shouldn't have. Dale died. He should have lost his leg and been pirate. Instead, they kept Herschel alive, and Herschel had an unlimited ammo shotgun. References ahoy, but there you go. In my eyes, the game is perfect. Anyone who hasn't played the first series of the Walking Dead game is an idiot.
I've not played the second yet. I've only played the first.
Yeah, the second fine. That's passable because you're emotionally exhausted for 10 years after playing the first series. The first thing that I always come to whenever I'm trying to sell a game to someone, I'm not a salesman, so I don't do this often.
I am.
You are. But the first thing I ever say to anyone I'm trying to sell a game like The Walking Dead is I say to them that there's a level of investment. It's not time, because time is usually the same. They're scripted, aren't they? So it's like 2 hours an episode.
Yeah, and they're efficiently done, man.
Yeah, brilliant. But it's investing emotionally into this series of characters. None more so than Clementine, a small girl that you're the ward of, and you have to try and keep safe in this atrocious environment, this horrible...
Yeah, you're training her for life without Lee.
You're not even training her. That's the weird thing. You don't train her until the 4th episode.
But you tell her to cut her hair. You tell her to cut...
That's on the train, 4th episode.
Yeah.
Before that, you are... No, sorry, 3rd episode.
Yeah.
3rd episode. And before that, it's just this innocent girl who's her own personality, brilliantly scripted. Just fantastic. But it comes to the end, and there's a moment where you can say something that's integral to everything that girl amounts to, and what she means to you during that series. And your character, you're invested in this character. You are that person. You present yourself as Lee. So whatever you say, it's what you'd say in those situations. You're not the convicted killer or he's not a killer, is he?
He killed his ex-wife's boyfriend.
Killed his ex-wife's boyfriend. Spoilers, but that doesn't fucking matter, because that doesn't make you judge a person. Get better than that, world.
It's okay to kill them.
Yeah, it's okay to kill them. I spiked it again. But yeah, in regards to that, it comes to the end, and there is everyone I've spoken to that's played this since I've asked them to play it or recommended it. They say the same thing in the end. They just want to say to this girl, as Lee Everett, speaking to Clementine, you want to say, I love you. You want it to be the end. That's what you want to say. Yeah. You don't want to say anything else. There's pedantic lines that you could use. You could say, be safe,
You can choose silence, man.
Yeah.
I love that. You can play for the entire game, never saying a word, like, saying hardly anything.
But everyone says the same thing. They want to say, I love you, Clem, because you've been through 10 hours of this journey, and you've invested emotionally in this group and that girl, and you want her to be safe, and you can't. They hold it away from you. It's on a precipice. So deep down inside, you want to make that choice. It's the first time in the game they don't give you an option that you can stand by. And they don't allow you to do that. You can take sides in every other argument, but that's the only time they don't give you the option that you want. And there is a reason behind that, because it's not practical to have emotion in that situation. It's brilliant. It's excellent. That's exactly how a game should be scripted. You should think about these things. You should have that option to say the things that you need to say and not what you want to say at the very moment that needs to be the case. And I highly recommend it. It's unfathomably good compared to Z Nation, which is I'd give it.
Is there an emotion in Z Nation?
3.4. No, there's no emotions. 3.4.
Is there a shot where they've done an unnecessarily wide shot of a building that they've shot around 5 times through in that day?
Oh no, there's my pet peeve in cinema is when you have someone go, we're going to the store now, and they go and they get in a car, and then you see them driving down a road, then you see them pulling into a shop, right? And that you don't need that. Unless you're Hitchcock, you can't beautifully film a drive to the shop.
Or you're, what's his face, the guy who did Samurai Cop.
Juxtaposition in that film. But no, you don't need to see them. So once you see a person go and open a car door and they get inside, cut straight to them getting back out of the fucking car at the shop.
Unless the experience of the journey itself is important, like their silence maybe or something. Like,
well, no, even if there's silence, because silence isn't character building to the audience, because we don't know the internal conflicts of the people.
Not necessarily. The Killers, 1930-something film, there's a whole sequence where the characters say nothing. They walk up to a door in silence, they're going to go into the door and kill a guy. The whole of the Pulp Fiction's sequence with Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta is a juxtaposition of that. It's about their journey before they get there, and they're talking about what's going on. The silence of the Killers in that scene is amazing.
Yeah.
It's me being a film nerd.
I mean, you've got things like a Buddha souffle as well. At the end, you see him lying there dead, bleeding, and he just does the thing, and then she does it as she's walking off. There's no words, but that's fine. That's silence for a reason. But when someone's sitting in a car and they're looking in the window at their child, they're like, "Child safe."
It's like they've gone, we need a moment where it's reflective. Let's shoot loads of car stuff.
No, it's like, let's make this 90 minutes, and then they go and they take it to like the MPA, and they're like, oh no, cut out this scene where there's a child on fire. Cut that out. We don't want that in there. That's 8 minutes of the movie gone.
8 minutes of a child on fire.
Yeah, just with Jesus music in the background. Jesus doesn't live here anymore. That's from Strange Wilderness. I just copied that. Strange Wilderness, 6 out of 10. But yeah, in regards to that, it's not required, and I think it is just filler. I've gone on a rant for the last 5 minutes.
What other Asylum films have you seen?
I've seen Transmorphers.
Have you seen Transmorphers, the second one? The one that's a prequel? The one with Shane Van Dyke in it?
No, I haven't.
There's a sequence where they go to a room, and it's like... It's just this grey box room, which I swear I've seen in some of their other films. Yeah. And one of the characters, her entire input in the thing, even though she's got vital information, her entire input is that she's really hot in this room. So she takes her shirt off, but she's got a vest on underneath, and she's sweating. None of the other characters are sweating. She then hurts her leg, and the rest of the film is her limping as they move around this one warehouse they've shot around while these CGI robots turn up. But I've seen Transmorphers. I've seen Titanic 2, which is just fucking terrible. I've never seen a film where every single shot of the film has a continuity error in it. There's a bit where...
Are we talking about big ones or small ones, like the spoons on the wrong side of the cup?
One scene, just not necessarily continuity, but errors in general, but there's one scene where everyone's trying to rush up these stairs. The door they're going into is a lift door. And you know it's a lift door because the diagram of the lift mechanism of the lifts and what floors are on there, the map of the hotel they're filming this in, is on the side next to the lift. There's a bit where a character gets crushed between 2 doors that are automatically shutting on the Titanic 2. So it crushed her.
Is this in space as well?
No. They went the same route as the original Titanic. Remember Portsmouth to New York? Yeah. Except you can see the Statue of Liberty in the background because they filmed the Titanic 2 at the start of that memorial boat that's in New York.
Oh, okay.
But she gets crushed between the doors.
Yeah.
But then the characters just walk through to the other side of it. They go to a medical bay One of the characters has had a medical trolley fall on her, and it's injured her, and she's cut her shoulder open. It's bleeding, which is obviously a vital injury, as we all know. A cut to the shoulder, you're dead.
That's literally where your heart is.
Remember that they're in the first aid room, and the nurse, they're both nurses. The nurse that's injured and the other nurse is there with Shane Van Dyke, who's rich.
Yeah.
So her instant thought is, how am I going to heal her injury? Have you got a credit card? Can I get the credit card from your wallet and hold it over her wound, and then we'll strap it down? Instead of maybe using the abundance of medical facilities
even use
in
a
that
fucking
room,
used sock.
you could lift the trolley off her. That trolley that you lift off her, the cabinet that fell on her, probably had exactly what you needed to heal her injuries. In fact, while it fell on her, stuff probably spilled out and would have fallen on her and stitched her up in no time.
I think you probably missed the scene where it explained that one of them was a deadly heroin addict.
Oh, right.
And in that, there was also morphine. So
Shane
they would have
Van Dyke.
opened it and they would have started injecting morphine and died. And they were completely healthy at the time.
The cult of Shane Van Dyke, though, possibly one of the most searched for people on my site. Shane Van Dyke is probably second only to the search criteria of Chris Evans with shirt off, which has come up a ridiculous amount of times. And What Happened to Jack Black?
He's in Sex Tape. It's not very good. So I'm not going to review that today. That'll be next week.
Right. Should I go on to my next review?
Yeah, Nation Z. Just don't fucking watch it.
Did you give it a score?
Yeah, I give it like 3.5, 3.6.
Sure. My next review, like I said, we're not just going to do films and games and TV. We want to review stuff. Yeah. Morrison's Shea Butter toilet roll.
I've heard good things.
Yeah. No, you haven't.
No.
My cousin brought some. My cousin rents a room from me. She brought some the other day because we were in desperate need of toilet roll. It is the worst toilet roll I have come across since Sainsbury's own brand economy toilet roll, which was very rough on my buttocks.
Why is this something that people want to hear? This is something that worries me.
Here's the problem with Shea Butter toilet roll. Like a lot of those ones that are infused with some sort of balm in order to provide softness, it's a slightly weaker toilet roll. But Andrex aloe vera toilet roll is fine. It holds up. Shea Butter falls to pieces. You could sneeze on it and it would fall apart. You will find for the rest of your day that you are picking toilet roll from your crevasse. And it's just...
I spend a very short amount of my day picking bits of toilet paper from my arsehole. I assume that this is something you're very passionate about.
I don't want to do that.
No, I don't think anyone does.
No. I want a good toilet roll that holds its shape together. It doesn't fall apart. That I can fold over twice, and it is the appropriate amount of. This Shea Butter toilet roll.
Like double the ply that you've currently got.
No, normally that's why I double fold to maximise ply.
Maximise wipage.
But I've bought a lot of off-brand toilet roll in my day because
off-brand? like Durex.
Yeah, I don't want Durex toilet roll. It's mid for her pleasure. But yeah. I know that, you don't want this to fall to pieces. It's the worst thing. I'm lucky so far I've avoided the dreaded hole and finger poke through.
Oh, what, clipped your arsehole? No one wants to clip an arsehole. But that's the worst thing, is when you've wiped and your thumb catches something.
Yeah, you're on the toilet and you know you need to wipe. You could get another piece of toilet roll and wipe on that, but it's not clean enough yet. And then there's that point later in the day where you bite your nail or something.
Oh.
But
never done that.
Yeah, I bite my nails.
I assume that shit tastes like peanut butter.
So. I don't know. I wash it. I thoroughly wash.
But no, the argument would be that when you're sitting on the toilet for 20 minutes and then you have to quickly go to the bath. Like I have a separate toilet and bathroom. Oh. So if I'm taking a shit for 20 minutes and then I've got to go and wash my hands, people get suspicious because I'm not pissing for 20 minutes.
There should always be a sink near the bathroom. It's uncivilised.
No, that's not true.
You need something to wash your hands in.
No, definitely not.
You can put your hands in the toilet and flush again.
I'm pretty sure that's not hygienic, but I'll try it. So yeah, Shea Butter toilet paper.
Zero. -4.
I like how passionate you are about this.
I'm annoyed by it.
Why are you so annoyed by it?
I've got 2 rolls now I'm not going to do anything with.
Paper mache?
I'm going to maybe use that to pick up hair stuck in the sink.
Oh yeah, I forget. Yeah, living with women, that's the one bane of your existence.
Yeah. You should review something. Before we get even deeper into toilet roll.
The only thing I've been talking mostly about stuff that's visual stimuli. I don't know. What have I done or listened to or...
Didn't you have something else on your list then?
I do have one more thing, but it's Watch Dogs, and everything I say about Watch Dogs is going to be the same as what I said about Watch Dogs. Mordor. Have you?
Yeah, I've got it.
You've got Watch Dogs?
Yeah, I've got Watch Dogs on the PC.
The PC?
Yeah, I dealt with Ubiplay. I'm putting up with Ubiplay on my PC to play Watch Dogs.
It's actually a very good game.
It's... yeah.
But...
Buttocks.
It's a very good game, but...
That's entirely it.
Yeah, like... there's just... I really like the game, and I'm one of those people where I'm playing a game, I fuck the story, because usually the story is utter shit. Usually you're like, generic, gruff-voiced man has lost a family member.
You're 30-something bearded guy who, like, has a dark past.
Yeah, for some reason I'm really good with computers, but I work out every day to make sure I'm buff and studly. Yeah. But yeah, no, that guy essentially loses a family member and decides to go on a rampage.
Through his own actions the reason why she dies.
Yeah. That's the reason that I find most appalling, is that it's his own fucking fault. But that's besides the point. I mean, the game's alright. It's good. On the Xbox One, I recommend it on the Xbox One and PS4, or PC, in fact.
PC version is pretty nice looking. It could do better. Yeah. They could definitely, because apparently they've got a whole bunch of stuff that they basically turned off.
Yeah. There is reasons behind that, though. It was something to do with the updates, because if they had it all on, they'd have to update so much more than if they just had it buffered and turned off, so they don't have to update those settings. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true. That was for a birdie, for a grapevine. Yeah. And if you're like me and you talk to birds on a regular basis, you'll know they're fucking liars. But in regards to Watch Dogs, I'd recommend if you got an Xbox One, PC, or PS4. Yeah. I mean, it's £20 now. You can pick up £20 game station.
Yeah, like it's one of those games that's there's that sweet spot of games that are hyped a lot, sell well, but everyone returns it. And that's when it becomes nice and cheap. It's one of those ones that fits exactly in that nice and cheap category because everyone's fucking got it.
I feel like if you didn't like GTA 5, if you're one of those rare people that didn't like GTA 5, and I love GTA 5, I loved 33.3% recurring of it because Trevor is not in it enough.
Yeah.
Fuck everyone else. Trevor was the best character. Everyone knows Trevor's the best character. Even people that just watch Trevor go, I can't wait to play as Trevor. Oh, it's like, I don't want to play as generic gangbanger, and I don't want to play as generic Goodfellas. I want to play as the fucking madcap hillbilly.
Trevor was the first character in GTA that actually fit the gameplay. Yeah. Like, there's no ludonarrative dissonance there, to quote Terry Kavanagh and his use. Was it Terry Kavanagh who used that word? No, Ken Levine.
You read a lot more games-based things than I do. I don't read opinions on games a lot often.
Ken Levine was the one who was the first one to coin the term ludonarrative dissonance. Who was the guy who was the first person to coin the term? To coin a phrase.
Captain Coin, Mr. Coin, Mr. Leslie Cap and Coin.
Yeah, my problems with Watch Dogs mainly come from stuff like he denies he's the vigilante.
You just reminded me of.
Then on the radio they announce his name as the vigilante. Like everyone knows he's the vigilante, but he constantly pretends he isn't. There's the side of the story where he's like, he's allowed to hide his identity, but no one else can hide their identity. Yeah. And he's allowed to sneak on people and listen in on their conversations.
You've seen Transformers 4, haven't you?
Fuck yes. That fucking...
Alright, Transformers 4 is it's another one of those things like, I think Mark Wahlberg is doing this to hurt me. I've seen Boogie Nights, I love that film.
Fuck yeah.
You watch Transformers 4 and there's no sign of that young, hungry actor. It's all just... a dead, soulless monster. But anyway, no, Transformers 4, there's a similar thing where Optimus Prime, or at least a metallic blur that's jumping against another metallic blur, looks like Optimus Prime. There's red and blue in it, so I assume it's him.
Optimus Prime in name only.
Yeah. Jumps on top of a dinosaur and he goes, "You will listen to me! I'm doing this to free you! Now, listen to me!" He's like trying to capture this dinosaur.
Yeah, I'm giving you your freedom.
But your freedom comes at the price of being captive under my will.
The thing that bugs me about that, everyone always goes on about how that bit was really stupid.
Yeah.
No one ever mentions how much more stupid it was. Because they calmly walk out of the spaceship beforehand, suggesting that they've come to some sort of agreement, and then just fight.
Yeah, just fuck shit up.
Oh, fuck that film.
Do you know, what the biggest problems with that film is?
Everything.
T.J. Miller dies in the first 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Low budget Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
Yeah, but he's not... It's not even that. It's like, if you watch the film again... I've watched it twice now. Because I might be brain dead at this point.
I was checking my watch the whole way through that thing. I haven't been to a film in the cinema. I've checked my watch constantly in ages. And I went to see all three of the friggin... I like Godzilla.
I like Godzilla as well. Yeah. I was just like, when's Godzilla arriving? So he's late.
I went through all three of the prequel trilogies, man. All three of the Star Wars prequels, man. And I never checked my watch.
No, I fell asleep in the cinema.
I saw Avatar.
Yeah. I saw Avatar twice. I saw it for free at the Samsung thing.
But Transformers 4 was terrible.
Yeah, it was really bad. But yeah, no, it's a similar thing. It's like
Film dump.
Yeah, check out Film Dump for a review. Actually, I've got one on Cinemageddon as well. Check out. My name's Katya, so Cinemageddon.
Yeah, Cinemageddon.
Cinemageddon.
Yeah. I wanted to call this Review-mageddon.
Review-mageddon? Yeah, but it was already taken, wasn't it?
Yeah, Guru Larry already took it.
Yeah, don't you dare Google Review-mageddon after hearing that name in our podcast. That's not us.
I shouldn't mention that Film Dump exists somewhere else as well. There's a forum, apparently.
Cinemageddon. It's just spelled differently. Shut up! Shush. We're ruining this. I thought we were doing all right up until this point. I'm laughing. I'm slightly intoxicated.
There's about 5 Mellow gaming channels on YouTube.
How long is this now?
We've been going 1 out of 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've got 1 review each left, I think.
No, I've done.
You're done.
I can review something else. I'm going to watch plenty of shit this week.
But what was your score for what we were reviewing before Transformers came up?
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah, give it. I actually, honestly, I would give it on next gen console. I'd give it an 8. On previous gen, it's 5. The reason it's 5 though is because there's something about having your senses dulled. It's almost like you don't get the full capacity.
When you know there's a better version out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's all well and good drinking and then sleeping with someone who's disgustingly ugly, but it's just waking up the next day and seeing her and you're like, oh god, did I really?
You lad.
Did I really? Because there was a hot one right next to her. I could have got that. It would have just cost me a little bit more time and I probably would have had to buy her drinks. Instead I went home with something that probably wandered out of Battersea Dog Home.
I sponsor Battersea Dog Home, that's okay.
Yeah, I donated a bunch of money to them recently. Yeah. How tragic. Some prick lit on fire. Fuck that guy. Yeah. If there's one thing that I'm not calling people to arms to beat someone to death. Don't ever assume that. You know, if ever I'm going to do that.
But the guy who set fire to that dog beat him to death.
No. Let's not do that. It's not a call to arms for the people here. This is just us speaking as people to an anonymous audience that's probably it's going to be at least in the double digits.
I think we've got at least 3 people watching this.
Well, no, come on, I'm saying at least 11.
Combined from SoundCloud and YouTube.
Yeah, 11. I'd say 11. But anyway, so that guy, not a call to arms to kill this guy, but genuinely, someone help him. There's got to be something so mentally broken about a man who sets fire to a place that's a home for lost puppies and dogs. If ever you've met a dog, they don't have content. They don't, they're happy to be around people. They're never content. That's never a word that enters them. They're never in a position where they're just, this is alright. They're not like humans.
Yeah.
They're happy. They're so happy when the tiniest bit of affection is sent their way that their life is a constant fucking rainbow of pleasures. And then you've got people that torture them and maliciously murder them. And just this guy, fuck that guy.
What score would you give Battersea Dogs Home?
Battersea Dogs Home?
All the points. To
be honest, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. They could do a little bit better by hiring me. Yeah.
To beat anyone who sets fire to them.
Yeah, just if they hired me as a night watchman and gave me a gun, this wouldn't have happened. Or I would have shot the fire. And you can kill fire with bullets, right?
Yeah.
Alright, good.
Yeah, I played a game where you did that. Yeah, Burning Rangers, you fired water bullets.
But no, just fuck that guy. Genuinely. Anyone who can donate as well. Donate to the Battersea Dog Home. It's a worthy cause. Like, if you're going to donate to anyone, don't donate to the Ice Bucket Challenge because 80% of that's going in someone's pocket.
Yeah.
Go mad. Donate what you can. If you can't donate money...
They help cats as well.
Exactly.
If you want to propagate cats on the internet.
Then donate some dog food. I don't know, dog biscuits. What do dogs like?
Balls.
Oh shit, I've been feeding my dog bricks.
Oh shit.
I keep doing that.
Well.
But yeah, anyway. So, Watch Dogs, I'd give it a solid 8. 7 or 8 on next gen consoles. It would just be a 5. It's a case of every time you look online, you'll see a trailer, you'll resent yourself a little bit for not spending 300 quid on top.
I've not played through it all yet, so I'm about halfway through.
I've unlocked all of the cities, so I've done all those little towers.
Yeah,
I'm addicted
fucking
to that
towers.
Shit. As soon as you get Far Cry 3, you're like, oh, what can I do? And you go to a tower and you're like...
If I play Far Cry 4 and within 20 minutes it asks me to capture a tower, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm tired of that.
You say that. You'll be pissed off until you see an elephant nearby and you're like, I'm going to capture
Can you put guns on the elephant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You'll like climb the tower and you'll be like, oh, there's an elephant enclosure.
Right. So am I going to do the last review?
If you want to do one, then I'll pull something out my arsehole. I'll wing something completely and entirely. Rabbit.
Well, I'm figuring the last thing I should review is Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers on the 3DS.
I'll tell you what, as an introspective review, I will do Smash Brothers on the N64.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah? So we can discuss that after you've done Smash Brothers.
But Smash Brothers on the 3DS, I'm enjoying the testicles out of it so far.
Testicles?
Yeah. I am a bit annoyed that you can't switch the C-pad to the D-pad. It's the only thing that's irritating me on the game.
What does the D-pad do?
But it's better control for me. It's
No,
faster.
I mean, like, what does it do? in the
Taunts. Like, fucking taunts. Like, that couldn't be on the C-pad. I guarantee, because apparently it's got that C-Stick support for the new 3DS that's coming out, which is just called the new 3DS. I bet the C-Stick does C-pad, does taunts as well. But the game is fine. It's exactly what you expect from Smash Brothers. It's like over the top, it's chaotic, it's freaking... The variety of characters is all over the place. It's a bit weird that they've split up some of the characters, so you got Metroid and Zero Suit Samus as two separate characters. Metroid's a person, obviously. Why can't Metroid crawl?
Why can't Metroid crawl? You're saying Metroid is in the alien named Metroid, the Metroid alien, the little bug thing with the little teeth.
No, the one in the orange and red.
You mean Samus Aran?
She's called Metroid.
She's not called Metroid. That's the name of the alien. God, I love that game.
I think Metroid's a pretty cool guy.
He's a cool character.
Yeah. He shoots aliens and doesn't afraid of nothing, man.
Imagine the balls that guy's packing.
But yeah,
massive breast-sized balls.
Smash Bros. Brilliant. There's plenty of stuff to unlock. I've already hit the addiction of trophy collecting, which was Smash Bros. Brawl went to an extreme, man.
Every time we get one of those games, I fucking start collecting trophies.
Yeah, I play that home run thing just because I learned that gradually you'll be able to hit it further and get more trophies.
Wait, really?
Yeah. If you hit certain distances, you'll unlock certain trophies.
Yeah, I can get to like 319 feet.
I've done about 420, I think, is my max so far.
Yeah, you always have to do it, don't you?
Yeah, I love that game. But the thing, this comes back to the C-Stick, though. Because the C-Stick's quite slow, it's got a lot of resistance to it, I can't do the smash attacks quick enough. The tap and attack, which you need to do.
2DS?
No.
Oddly enough, really good C-Stick.
Is it different? Is it looser?
I wouldn't even say it was looser. It just feels like the PSP one. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit like that.
Yeah, sweet. I do like my old PSP. It's got I think it's got some sort of virus. There's something underneath the screen that seems to be growing like a bacteria inside of a tray.
That's not a virus.
Yeah, underneath the screen. But yeah, Smash Bros is excellent so far. I've tried playing online and it doesn't work at all.
There's a patch you have to apply.
I've done that download.
Oh really?
Yeah.
IGN said there's a patch.
Every time I've tried to play online, you choose your character and it loads you into like a game where you're playing against CPO for a while you're waiting for the other people to choose their characters. Never once has it exited that. Every character has said it's ready, every player, and it's never exited. And from what I understand, if you play multiplayer, if you ever do actually get into a game, you're not going to have, it's going to lag out quite often. Sometimes it will actually pause to let the data catch up.
Oh, really?
It slows down to a crawl. There's a video on Game Trailers where they did a review of it, and they show what it looks like, and it just goes 3, and then you see, the character animation slowly play out, and then it'll gradually go 2, and then suddenly the game's in play. And
Strange.
It's apparently online's completely screwed. I remember it not being brilliant on Brawl. Was it Brawl?
Yeah.
On the Wii?
It was alright.
But it was Nintendo's first attempts at online play, as far as I'm aware.
No, there was Mario Kart.
Was Mario Kart before it? Yeah.
And also, you remember the modem, the 56k modem?
No one remembers the 56k modem.
56k modem, there's a slot for it on the bottom.
Oh, the GameCube. Yeah, I've got a Game Boy player plugged into my Game Boy.
Yeah, the modem actually fits in. You know the smaller one?
Yeah.
Fits in there.
Yeah.
But you can play Mario Kart Double Dash online.
Could you? Shit. But yeah, you played a little bit of Smash Bros earlier. You enjoyed it?
Smash Bros.
Yeah,
it's good. It obviously I'm an old veteran at this. I've played them all. Even the Wii one. A lot of people seem to avoid. Great. I like Smash Brothers. I always love Smash Brothers. I'm told that the different characters you select are the different difficulties. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Because I was told that Link is like the easy version of the game, but I always play as Link because I don't.
I'm finding Link easier than others. I found Shulk to be the most difficult character to play as.
Oh, really? So I think that may be the case. So I've always been good with Link. I've always sort of decimated games. There's a couple of people I used to play with named Tom and Nick. Name dropping my old 127 homies.
Yeah.
But those guys, we all used to play together, and one would win one day and one would another. And we're all great. We're all really good at it. And I love the game. It's one of those games that you can be competitive at, but it never feels like you're getting angry with the game. You never blame the game. The controls are so good. They're so well done that you never have to worry about that sort of thing. And all in all, I really enjoyed it.
The chaos, when you lose control a little bit from the chaos of the whole thing, it kind of feels like part of the game. It's not so much that you're you lose control, but it's okay because it's part of what the game is.
I wish that jump was a button.
Jump is X and Y. You can use X and Y to jump.
Well, I wish it was like A. I wish it was like a big button. I think it was like a little bit more like Mario controls.
Yeah.
And the reason behind that is that pressing up on the D-pad as you're falling towards your death is not quite as immediate as that saving grace of hitting that A button and then being
I am
up.
finding, because of the smaller screen, I'm not noticing when I'm falling to my death as often.
I think that may be the case with those ones. But I've got a Wii U, so I'm looking forward to it coming out on the Wii U.
I need to get a Wii U. I'm aiming for a Retron 5 first, though.
Really?
Yeah. I need something to put my SNES cartridges in that actually turns on every time I flick the switch. And it'll be perfect for recording stuff, because it's a crapshoot. When you're recording 50 Hz stuff.
Wait, what consoles are you trying to replace? Just the SNES?
SNES, Mega Drive, Master System. I've got all of them, man. I've got my NES.
Replace it with the Retron 3 then. You don't need the Retron 5.
No, because it's Retron 5X upscales to HDMI for 720p.
Same as Retron 3.
Yeah, but it's HDMI out. It doesn't have it out on Retron 3, does it?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's got Game Boy Advance slot as well.
Retron 3, does that work? Should we start asking people questions expecting answers?
Yeah. But Smash Brothers, I'm liking it so far. I've played about 3 hours of it.
Because I'm a traditionalist, I'd give it a solid 9.
Yeah.
I'd never go 10 on it. I mean, the only thing that I'd ever review a 10 would be the story for The Last of Us, but not the plot, not the actual structure. The story was fantastic. The actual structure of the game,
haphazard.
Linear sort of, you've got the freedom to do whatever you want. No, you don't. Those clickers, they were placed to intrinsically fuck up.
Yeah, you have to go through the level in pretty much the way they decide.
Yeah, pretty much. Super Smash Brothers on the 3DS works really well. Actually, looks quite nice as well. Which is the first time I've ever thought that about a 3DS game.
It looks better than the Wii one, the previous Wii one.
That's going a bit far.
The Wii one was alright, but I think you roasted lenses on that, man.
Interesting fact. Did you know the GameCube was the first console that did HD?
Was it? Oh yeah, it
could do 720p.
Yeah, not the British version though, because no one ever used any progressive scan games, did they?
Sadly not.
But yeah,
poor GameCube.
That's Smash Brothers.
That's Smash Brothers. As a segue, I guess Smash Brothers 64.
Yeah.
I played this a long time ago. I've never actually. This is really bad. I've only actually played it on the actual N64 once.
Yeah.
Because my N64 fucked up almost immediately after I bought
it. They do that. Yeah.
So I downloaded an emulator and a ROM. I'm sorry, I'm breaking the law. As Judas Priest say, breaking the law.
Breaking the law. Washing the dog.
And been caught stealing by Jane's Addiction. Let's reference them all. Get them all in here. That's the more stuff you can search on Google and you'll find our shit for no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, all in all, Super Smash Bros. 64, it's fucking solid. I think that they took so much care into bringing that into a functional game, and it is a very, very original idea. You had Capcom versus SNK and things like that before that, and you had X-Men versus Capcom before that as well.
Yeah,
maybe
it was. It was X-Men versus Capcom first.
X-Men versus Capcom first. And
Marvel Superheroes came after, and then they did Marvel Superheroes versus Capcom.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So you had all that shit beforehand, and then you had this fantastic Nintendo game come out, and no one ever thought that they would want to lamp the shit out of Link as Mario. Mario, as he's named in the film, and Luigi Mario. No one ever thought they'd want to lamp the shit out of each other playing as those characters, because they're not burly characters. They're not these masculine people. They're all just like these cartoonish human beings. And my god, did I love fucking shit up as Donkey Kong. When you start pounding the ground with your fists and you're just going mad and people are just flying in the air and you're like... And the whole thing just worked so very well. And it's such a recommended treat to find something that's so retro but just it puts its feet firmly in the ground, plants itself, and there is no way you're moving that what's the one I'm looking for? There's no way you're moving that sort of recipe for success.
Yeah.
There's no need to change that. That's there, and that's what it needs to be.
Nintendo like that. If they get it right first time and they can just keep repeating.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah, the Nintendo do.
But my god, for people that make blueprints and they make them well, and then they use those blueprints to make a product that's great, they're the ones. I mean, do you remember the Sony attempt at this? Sony All-Stars Battle?
I haven't played it.
Okay, I bought that for the PS3, under the belief that would be a Super Smash Bros. Clone. I could play as Isaac from Dead Space in.
Yeah.
It's not. It's fucking atrocious.
Yeah, hasn't it got a different mechanic to how you win?
No, it's pretty similar. It just feels so fucking soulless.
Yeah.
And vapid. And that may be a statement on Sony themselves and the way they produce games. It feels very clinical.
Yeah.
And it feels almost carbon copied in the way the menus and other things like that. But absolutely, Smash Bros. Just nailed it. I don't know if maybe it's the plethora of characters they can play with and bring in.
Yeah.
But they've also now got other companies, as of Sony at the time did. Obviously, they brought in Sucker Punch to do the infamous characters.
Yeah, they had Dante as well, didn't
They
they?
had Dante from Capcom, and they had Isaac from
Dead Space.
EA.
Yeah.
And it all worked really well.
Because they didn't have enough mascots.
Yeah, it all worked really well for Nintendo. Sony, not so much. And I think it's just that approach. They're like, what do people want?
Yeah.
Let's give them what they want. And it's like, no one wants a cookie up the arsehole. You just combine two things and you've got it wrong. You combine Smash Bros. With a massive dildo up the bum. And not everyone likes that.
No,
you find some people like it. Some people definitely like the game.
Yeah, if you like it, it's fine. It's your choice.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely up to yourself as to whether you like that as a preference. Not in the comparison I've made. Sometimes that isn't a choice. But in terms of the game in itself, whether or not it's Marmite, it is essentially Marmite laced with shit, because not everyone's going to like it. And a fair few people didn't.
So yeah, we're ending on Smash Brothers then.
Smash Bros. 64, 10 out of 10. Sony All-Star Battle, 3.
And Smash Bros. On 3DS so far.
Yeah, 8. I've only played it for like 20 minutes, 10 minutes, not even that.
16.3.
16.3.
Yeah. So that's the end of the first podcast.
What an attempt at a podcast.
Yeah.
If this is shit, tell us.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. As we mentioned, you can find me on Film Dump and
Cinemageddon?
Yeah, Bat on Cinemageddon.
2 Gs and 1 D.
This will be on Mellow Gaming. I'm also going to chuck it on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So yeah, have a look for Critapocalypse. Critapocalypse.
You know what, right?
We're going to sort out the pronunciation of that.
Yeah, steadily drinking as you make a podcast is the way forward, isn't it?
Yeah. I've downed 2 glasses of Glenfiddich.
I feel classy as balls right now.
Yeah, Glenfiddich.
Yeah.
8.6.